Tom Watson, I'm a West Bromwich MP. I'm here today because I've seen the fear on the faces of my constituents and my friends across the West Midlands region. People can't communicate with their loved ones when they're worried about medical supplies, when they're worried about food and water, basic provisions that we take for granted in this country. It's a humanitarian crisis and it requires us to speak out and act. And, you know, the Kashmir is perhaps the most beautiful part of the world, and it's the most troubled. And when you've got Pakistan and India saying that the bilateral arrangements are not finding peace, they're not finding a solution, it seems to me that this is an inflection point in the history of the region that requires the foreign policy of Britain and the rest of the world to be reapplied, to be redoubled, to our efforts to step in and help those two countries find a lasting peace for the people of that beautiful region. I don't want families in Birmingham to be worried about their loved ones back in Kashmir. I don't want them to be fearful about whether there's been extrajudicial arrests or whether human rights have been eroded or whether they're not getting fed or the right medical provision. We need to work harder, and the person for whom the responsibility currently lies is Dominic Raab, our Foreign Secretary, and he needs to speak out and say to his counterparts in India and Pakistan, let the UK help. We will step in and help you find a solution. You know, he knows the politics of that region. He will know the worry of the people of Britain, that, you know, they are his citizens that he is responsible for, and they're frightened, and they don't have to be. It is incumbent on the UK, with our historic role in that region, to try and find a solution to this impasse, or things are going to slide into an even bigger morass of desperation. And that's why I'm here today. And that's why I think we need to do everything we can in all our powers to try and find a solution once and for all. You know the fear that people see because of these actions. When you arrest political leaders, when you essentially put a whole community into isolation by cutting off their communications with their loved ones around the world, when they're worried about food and basic provisions, that's a form of an oppression that cannot be resolved by sheer force. You know, they are responsible for trying to find peace, and this isn't the way to do it. And I'm afraid the UK government are going to have to formally register that message.